Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I don't know how well the camera's going to show what I'm going to do, but I've had a look at the predictions for the weather and the length of the days and how they're shortening, and quite honestly that end shade netting is coming off now. As long as it's not raining, of course. I don't do getting wet. The light levels are getting incredibly low lately with dull days, drizzly days. It's just, you know, the UK autumn is just often like that. And I'm predicting, actually it's easier if I go out and show you. That big tree is the problem, and at the moment the sun comes across this big gap here, so that's like, you know, late morning into early afternoon, and that puts strong sun onto that end. This is the side effectively, so I can't take that shade netting off. That sun would be far too strong this time of year. But after early afternoon, the sun ducks behind that tree which is in full leaf. And that's it, it's gone. There is no sun on the grow room at all until it comes out there. And when it comes out there, it's low in the sky and it sets about there where that pointy bit is on the roof. So that's the only bit of sun that would be on that end. And looking at the weather forecast, we're not going to get any for quite a few days, and if we do, it'll just be the odd sunny spot, and the sun's weak at that point, so I'm going to take the risk and take that shade netting off. I can always pop it back up again, you know, if we get a really sunny spell for quite a few days on the trot, but I think the sun's low enough in the sky this time of year now to take the risk, and the little bit of sun I get at the very end of the day will actually be a benefit, you know, rather than a worry. Right, that's a lot more light coming in that end now. Even on a dull day, that's probably half as much light again as they would have got with the shade netting on. So it's a lot brighter, natural light, good stuff. Even though it's not much of it because the days are getting shorter. But what it does mean now is I will have to shuffle plants around. Those that can take the highest light and in fact need it can now be moved to that end, and then those plants can be used to give some dappled shade to ones that don't need quite such intense light. So I haven't got any watering to do today as such, so I'll play shuffle round, see how we go. Now I've got to do my end of season update soon. Now obviously there's a lot of plants, and the other full updates that I've done have just gone on and on and on and quite honestly they might seem tedious, so the idea this time is to do it fast and spread it out and do it in smaller chunks. Now I've tried my mid-season update, I tried doing them in the order they were in the notes, the idea being that when I revisited the subject I'd be doing them in the same order again. But again, that can be a bit tedious, you know, it gets bogged down at the D point, the dendrobium point, and then when you get to the Oncidium alliance, you know, there's so many in that section. So what I thought I'd do this time is literally go round as the plants are at that time. So they'll be jumbled up. There'll be clusters, but they'll be jumbled up. You know, like if I start here, you know, we're going to have a couple of dendrobiums, Oncidium alliance, a Capia, some more dendrobiums, some Arengis. Yeah? So by just moving round methodically, either from right to left or left to right, there'll be an assortment in each video, because there's no way it can happen in one video. It's going to take several. But I'm really going to bite the bullet and stick to the point, because otherwise these videos just get so long. I tend to ramble. I pick up a plant and say, right, this one's doing really well, it's pushed up 2 new growths and we've got buds on this spike, and how I look after this one and what I did and I wander off the topic. So literally I'm going to try and stick to literally 10-15 seconds per plant. You do the maths, you multiply that up by 200 plants, that's still a fair bit of video. Yeah, so I'm going to try and keep them short and sharp. but I'll probably be starting them in the not too distant future. I planned on doing it at the beginning of November, but that puts like a calendar point, and you know me, I don't like having calendar points where, you know, there's literally a date on the calendar where I must do something. So I might actually start that in the not too distant future, and then I can do one, you know, and perhaps do some other things in between, and then do another one, rather than having like 5 or 6 of basically the same thing, one after the other. I know some people enjoy it, but there are others who would like it broken up a bit, and you know, perhaps have a look at some new blooms in between or something like that. There certainly won't be any new plants, that I can virtually guarantee. We're not buying any more plants now until the spring. Seems a bit pointless to buy a plant in and then subject it to our miserable flipping winter. I'd rather get something fresh and bright in the spring, at which point I will probably have another clear out. The idea is, on a rolling basis until I don't need to do it anymore, I'm going to pick about 10 plants in the spring, maybe not that many, that are my least favourites, and really think about them and think, why is this my least favourite? Perhaps I just am not too keen on the blooms. Perhaps it doesn't grow so well for me. And knock them off the list. Yeah? Sell them on. And that leaves space for the plants I plan to keep that I do like to get bigger, and leave a few gaps for the odd new one now and again. So anyway, that's let there be light, and there has been. But the big test will be when the sun actually, you know, when we do get the next sunny day, and I'll have to be very wary and get in here and feel the leaves near the glass and see if they're warming up to any great extent. Stick the fan on if necessary on sunny days, and we'll see how we go. But the way the shade netting's up there, it's just a few battens with screws. You know, it's a 5-minute job to take it down and put it back up again. It really is a simplistic job. And then the real change for this winter will be to take the shade netting on that end off down to the top of these shelves. So these 2 top shelves get brighter light, and anything hanging gets brighter light as well. So, you know, a lot more light this winter. And the logic being that, you know, I know other growers that don't have any shade netting at all on their greenhouses in the winter. Well, they get away with it. And they've got a glass roof. You know, I mean, I've got a covered roof. That's opaque, polycarbonate with bubble wrap. So I'm never getting direct light in through the roof, but, you know, they do, and they get away with it. So, yeah, more light. I'd like it for longer, but I can't do anything about the shorter days. But, yeah, so, but that certainly isn't going to happen till sort of December time. So it'll just be for the shortest days, the December-January period. And we'll see how we go with that. That'll be new. I haven't done that before. Last winter was the first time ever that I took that end shade netting off, and nothing burnt, nothing went wrong, and I believe the plants did better for it. So that I'm okay with. This bit's a bit iffy. I'll give it a go and see what happens. Okay, so that's that little job done. I haven't got much else to do out here today, really. The one thing I must do is try and sort out those mounted Phalaenopsis. There's no point in bringing all the Phalaenopsis into the house to keep them warm in the winter and leaving those 3 out there. So somehow or other I've got to find somewhere to put them in the house. I'm working on it. See you next time.